Well, for more on this story, I'm joined now on the line by Dr. Martin Preston, a marine pollution expert from Liverpool. Dr. Preston, BP says this funnel to control the leaking oil well should be up and running by the end of the week. How exactly will it work if it does work?
Well, let's hope it does work. It's a huge structure. It's really just what it says. It's like a funnel, but upside down. And they're going to try and place it over the leaking wellhead and gather all the oil together, and then they'll be able to draw it up to the surface through an undersea pipeline, where they hope to be able to take the oil directly into barges on the surface rather than it spilling out into the water.
Now, BP itself has admitted that the funnel may not work. It's never done anything this deep before. If that is the case, and if it doesn't work, what other options are there for containing the soil slick?
Virtually none, I think, other than what's been tried already. Eventually they're going to have to drill a new well in order to intercept the leaking one and try and plug it, but that's going to be at least a couple of months, maybe longer, before they succeed in doing that. Other than that, the only technology really that's available is what's being used, which are the floating booms to try and prevent it from reaching critical areas. But those are very vulnerable to different weather conditions. If the sea state gets any worse than waves of about a meter or so, then the oil is likely to go either over the top or underneath the booms and may still reach the shore.
Dr. Preston, this spill has got many politicians in the U.S. up in arms, including the governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He says he's now going to back off a controversial proposal to drill for oil off the state's southern coast. Might a silver lining to this crisis be that it gets people rethinking the environmental impact of offshore drilling?
Well, I think that's going to be the case. I mean, in fairness to the offshore industry, they have by and large had a pretty good record, but it's incidents like this that really pull it into focus. And I think one of the things that they're going to be looking at particularly is the policy about whether they have these so-called acoustic switches, these remote control systems which might enable them to get a second chance at switching off a leaking well if all else has failed. I'm not sure that would necessarily have worked in this case, but obviously a policy which excludes those will come under serious review, I think.
And Dr. Preston, just very briefly before we leave you, what about the environmental damage to the coast from this oil slick?
Well, it's very difficult to predict. The slick is all over the place. It's hovering offshore off at least 4 states of the U.S. Where it ends up and the amount of damage it causes is going to depend on the weather and the wind conditions, really. But if it arrives in any quantity and in a sensitive area, then the damage could be quite significant.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Martin Preston, marine pollution expert from Liverpool, joining us there on the line.